Hi YouTube, I thought I'd sit back and go through my memories of the weekend down in Izu. It was a 3-day weekend in Japan, and on Saturday I took my wife and son down to Izu Peninsula, to Shimoda City, to visit our friend Keith. Now Keith joined us in the 10-kilometer marathon back in February, but he's suffering from cancer pretty bad, and he's got lung cancer and brain tumors, and he's not really in the kind of he's not in the kind of state to take part in any more marathons and triathlons and whatnot. And it was back in June when I went up to the triathlon in Toyama, and I thought it would be great if he could come with me, but obviously he couldn't. So when I got back and we talked on the phone, and he said, I said, next year you've got to come up with me, and he said, well, why don't you come down here and do a triathlon? So I said, all right, I will. And from that moment, we decided to put together a half Ironman distance triathlon. He lives in a beach house on the beach, so right in his backyard, and that would be a 1.9 kilometer swim in the sea, and then 90 kilometers on the bike, on the mountain bike, and then a 21.1 kilometer run. So that was decided. And Keith had asked his friend Shun to join us, or I'm not sure, maybe Shun had just volunteered. Either way, there was 2 of us doing it together, so it wasn't an official event. It was just 2 guys doing the whole thing together. So we drove down there on Saturday, and that took most of the day just to get there, because it's 7 or 8 hours drive from here. And up early the next day, 5, I don't think I barely slept, but by 5:30 I was at Keith's house for breakfast: cornflakes, toast and a banana. And by 6:20 we were heading towards the start. Now me and Shun had to cycle ahead to take our bikes to the start. The start was at a beach, a family beach in Soto-Ura, just by Shimoda City. It's just by central Shimoda. It's in Shimoda, of course. And Keith had really gone to town on organising this. He had Shun's wife driving him around while he filmed us with his phone, and Shun himself is like a photographer, a professional photographer, and his wife is his assistant, so she was also going around with a rather professional camera, taking pictures and video. And there were other people there to meet us at the start, friends from the White Beach Hotel. I think it's a hotel, or is it restaurant, bar, hotel? I don't know, maybe it's all of them. They were there. There must have been maybe 8 or so people at the start to cheer us off. So we've got our wetsuits on, we're standing on the edge of the pier, and 7 o'clock on the dot we jump into the water, and then we have to swim 6 lengths across this beach. There are quite a few beaches down there. Some are for surfing, some are for fishing, and Keith managed to get the fishermen off the pier, so we could jump in the water. I don't know what he said to them, but they obliged. Me and Shun, it was pretty easy because of the wetsuits, and they give you a lot of buoyancy. And the water was very clear. We could see the bottom. I could see the fish. It's probably 3 to 4 meters deep, and yeah, so we both got stung by jellyfish, and I cut my toe on the rocks just by the pier. But otherwise it was pretty trouble-free. There was supposed to be a typhoon coming, but just didn't come. The forecast until the day before said it'd be rain and cloud all day. It turned out to be glorious sunshine and blue skies all day, so that was fantastic. We did the swim in about an hour and a few minutes. Then we got out, and then we really took our time. You know, Keith had all this. He had prepared everything. He had right for the wives. He had got those horns at for the start where it all go boom. We jump in the water, and you know, when we got out of the water, he had all the medical, the first aid kit there, towels, big jugs of water to wash ourselves off, you know, like a shower. Really well prepared, you know. And well, it took us about half an hour or so to get ready for the bike, and off we went. So we went on the bike, and Shun and Keith had put together this course. Shun in particular, and Shun had actually already done half of it before as a test run, and he said, "Oh, it's really hard." And he showed me the night before, and he said, "This is all flat, and there are 3 main uphill sections." You know, but Shun's idea of flat is up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So it was an absolutely ridiculous course. Not that he had much choice. And this is the Izu Peninsula. It's just mountains protruding out of the sea, and so we're just winding around the coast, going up and down, and we were going, you know, pretty quick, fairly decent pace, and after 25 kilometers, Keith and his and the rest of the pit crew flagged us over. So we stopped, and he pulled out the, you know, the deck chairs, not deck chairs, camping chairs, and he had us sit down, and he had his Tiger Balm, whatever it is, healing cream or whatever from Australia. It was massaging our legs and backs. We'd only done 25 kilometers on the bike. You know, I go 20 kilometers just to the swimming pool and back. You know, but still, it was very helpful, and you know, felt lovely. A few stocked up on Wader energy bars and jellies and bottles of the Bacardi Sweat sports drink and bananas and all sorts, and then we were off again. And then we did go up one of those long uphill stretches that Shim was talking about, and it went on, and it was pretty steep. We're down in the easiest gears, you know, chugging along at about 6 kilometers an hour just to get to the top. You know, but when you get to the top of these hills, then it's just whoosh, long stretches of downhill, and fly down them. Not really many cars on those roads. However, coming back into the city, you know, some of the roads are pretty busy there, and lots of traffic lights, which we kind of, you know, jump the red lights and stuff, which is probably not too smart, but I was just following Shun, and he seemed well aware of where all the cars were. We saw a motorbike get hit by a bus. We didn't see it get hit by a bus. We saw the wreckage. Hope the guy was all right. Well, yeah. So then, from that point, it was like we didn't really go more than 10 or 15 kilometers without being flagged down by Keith and his band of merry volunteers with more supplies. Shun's got this huge head of hair, long hair, and his, under the helmet on and stuff, his head was getting really hot. I mean, mine was too, so I can't imagine how hot his head was. But every time we stopped, pouring bottles of water over his head to cool down, you know, because it was hot. It was, if not 30 degrees, it was very close. It took us 3.5 hours to do the first loop, which was about 45 kilometers, and then we had to do a second loop further north. And that was just, if the first loop wasn't bad enough, this loop was just taking the mickey. to get us off the main road, and you got to realise there aren't many roads down there because it's all mountains. So to get off the main road, we went along a back road, which isn't really a back road as much as it is one of those tiny winding tractor roads with all these switchbacks that go right up to the top of the mountain and back down and back up again. And it really was, you know, it would make a trail runner proud to run over those mountains. You know, and our bottoms were just in pain, both of us, you know, standing up quite a lot on the pedals and shifting from cheek to cheek, try and ease the pain. You know, and then as the ride went on, the conversation between me and Shun got less and less as we both started to struggle, and you get to the point where you just want to get off the bike and get the last major uphill stretch. Was 4 kilometers non-stop, pretty steep gradient, something like 9 or 10%, all uphill, winding up this mountain. And I think both of us, we just wanted to get to the top, because we knew once we're at the top it was just another 15-20 kilometers all downhill all the way to the end of the bike stage. But no, we're flagged down again by our pit crew. Out come the chairs again, out come the drinks and the jellies. I mean, it was fantastic, really. Yeah, I mean, that was great, and I needed the refueling. I did want to get to the top of that mountain though, so that one didn't last, that break didn't last too long. And I think Keith sensed my frustration at all the stops, because the bike itself was running towards 7.5 hours. So he said, okay, next stop is at Soto Ura, the place where we started the bike, and that's where we would end on the bike. So eventually Shun and I got to the top of the mountain, then zoomed all the way downhill, all the way back to Soto Ura. But a lot of that last stretch, Shun was burping. You know, at first it was funny, he'd be like burp, 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 but it just didn't stop, and he was burping for, it must have been almost an hour of non-stop burping, and he wasn't feeling good. And we pulled over for a couple of minutes, and he was just getting worse and worse. And when we did get back to the beach to get off our bikes, he just collapsed on the floor, and I think he wanted to stay there. And you know, that was another break of 20 to 30 minutes, getting ready for the run. Shun got another massage, and we started on the run, and it was very slow. Shun was clearly not feeling well. Less and less, we just weren't really talking. It's like, you know, for me, running at 7 minutes 30 per kilometre, I can, I mean, I've been running for 3 years. I take it quite seriously now, and 7:30 is kind of hard because it's so slow. I feel like I can walk faster. But I can imagine Shun's stomach, it must have been going glog, 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 glog. I'm not sure why, maybe just drinking or eating too much, or something he'd eaten, but he was not feeling well. And after maybe didn't even get 3 kilometers, then we started walking. Walked the next 2 kilometers from Soto Ura to Shimoda Park, and yeah, he wasn't really talking now. He was listening, but he wasn't talking. He was feeling pretty rough. And when we got to Shimoda Park, we met up with our pit crew again, and he was begging Keith to let me go ahead. I didn't really want to go ahead. I mean, the whole point of it was not to race each other. It was just to finish together, regardless of how long it would take. It was just to do it together. But he pulled out then. To cut a long story short, he pulled out. I went on ahead, and it was kind of a relief, because if we had walked the whole way, it would have taken 5 hours just to do the run section, and it was already getting late. Fortunately I brought my headphones with me just in case. I was well equipped. I brought everything I had, and put on my headphones, put on my cap, tip the what do you call it, the cap down low, cranked up the music, and just went for it. I was actually feeling quite good. And I really wanted to get off the bike, but once I was off the bike I was feeling good. And then I put in some 1 kilometer splits, you know, around 4:35 I think was the first fastest, 4:38, 4:45 or something. We did these loops around the park, so every 2 kilometers I saw Shun and Mammy, my wife Mammy, and Rikito was there, my son, and cheering me on, and that was really nice. You know. But running around the park was nice too. I kept seeing the same people. There was another couple of runners running the other way, and we kept nodding at each other, and there was a bunch of old guys sitting outside some kind of stall or whatever, and you know, every time I went round, and the first time of course we went round with Shun, and then the second time it was just me, so they're like, where's the other guy? And I said, he dropped out. Then I come round again, and they're like, oh, he's come back. Then I come round again, and they're like, how many times? I come round again, and and it's nice. It's like they were cheering me on. And then on the last lap, I saw a beautiful rainbow. It was just really nice, a double rainbow even. It was like almost like a reflection of the rainbow in the sky, making a double rainbow. And then it got dark, and then thunderstorm, started to rain. I had about 6 kilometers to go. I told everyone to go back to the beach because that's where I'd finished the run, and then I started running back, and it was dark. Although I brought my headlight thing with me, I left it in my bag, which was in the car on the way back to the beach, so I couldn't see much, but every time the lightning flashed it would just light my way, and I could see where I was going, so that was good. And I was feeling pretty good until about the last 3 kilometers, where my back started to hurt and started to feel a little bit queasy myself. And then when I got to the finish, I still had 2 kilometers to go. Maybe I missed a loop or something around the park, but I had to run back and forwards along the pier just to finish the distance. And by this time everyone had gone. It was just Mammy and Rikito waiting for me in the car, and because I was going backwards and forwards, and I told them I had a couple of kilometers to go, they called Keith. Now Keith would have been there without a doubt, but just really unfortunate that a friend of his had some kind of seizure and gone into hospital, so Keith had to go to the hospital to see his friend. But nevertheless, when Mammy called him, he still managed to get to the finish line to film me, you know, finishing the event. Rikito ran out to me, and I held his hand, and we ran across the imaginary finish line together with Mammy there. Shun and his wife and their 8-month-old boy, cute little guy, you know, and their friends, they didn't wait anymore. Shun was just feeling too rough, and it was raining, and I totally understand that. But the people dearest to me were there, you know, Keith and my family. And that was it. And then Keith's like, okay, let's throw the bike in the car, let's get back home. Of course the bike wouldn't fit in the car, and I knew that. I'd have to take it to pieces and put it in, and so I just decided to ride back, so 3 kilometers by myself, back in the rain, back home. And that was it. Then I started to feel just as Shun had been feeling earlier. My stomach was feeling queasy, my breathing was getting harder to breathe, and I had to get off the bike and push it, stop, get my breath. And eventually I got home. Mammy had run a bath for me. I got in the bath, and then I climbed out of the bath, threw up in the toilet. I was feeling pretty rough then. supposed to go to Keith's house for dinner. We went, and I couldn't eat a thing. I just crashed on the sofa, couldn't move for a few hours, and that was it. But the important thing is earlier this year I'd done a smaller triathlon. I wanted to do something bigger. This was as big as is possible for me at the moment. Did I already say it was a 1.9 kilometer swim, 90 kilometer bike ride, 21 kilometer run. It took 11 hours, 42 minutes and 30 seconds, which is longer than some people finish a full Ironman. Yes, I've got some work to do, but what an incredible experience. And I'm trying to put together some of the video footage. Some of it will be up, some of it won't. A lot of it got edited. A lot of it was filmed portrait instead of landscape. Oh, bless them. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little report. I'm sure there are things I've forgotten. That's it for now. Okay, until my next adventure. This is Nick Ramsey, aka Long Countdown, signing out. Oh, from Gifu, Japan. Bye bye.